Hello everyone, welcome back to Nomadic Nutrition. My name is Shannon and I'm a registered associate nutritionist. In today's video, we're going to be talking about resisting diet culture and creating a diet that's right for you. In this video, I'm going to be discussing America because that is what I know. And if you have or are currently suffering from an eating disorder, please keep in mind the sensitive subject matter of this video. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's first discuss what is dieting culture. If you're anything like me or anything like most of America, you will have at some point in your life tried dieting. Times like the summer, holidays, or big life celebrations often come with a goal to lose a few pounds. And this is totally accepted as normal because we live in a dieting culture. But something that is so interesting about this culture is that the cycle of dieting never ends. We rarely end up meeting this arbitrary goal that, especially for women, change about every 10 years or so. But men are not completely exempt from this kind of messaging either. We have a diet culture that is not only built on false promises, but at the end of the day, don't work. So let's talk about why. 1. Diet culture is consistently advertised as the answer to health, yet health is majorly defined by aesthetic values, therefore our outer appearances. Let's take a look at some of the controversial messages we've seen marketers use to sell diet culture. 1. What about comparing women to various fruits? Also, did you know that you can be skinny and fat at the same time? And that's actually a bad thing. You can also be slim thick, but this is considered a good thing. And what about having a flat belly? I mean, not too long ago, Cosmopolitan magazine tells us multiple ways we can achieve that flat belly. They also want us to know that our obsession with flat bellies needs to stop. And what about this Victoria's Secret Love My Body campaign? While it may come with a positive message, the visual message it's sending is extremely exclusive, and the majority of the population cannot achieve this body type. And it's telling the consumers that love comes at one size. And while the Dove Real Beauty campaign tries to play on this, you can see that a lot of these women, again, have very similar body types and there isn't a lot of body diversity. And I'm sure you've heard this before, is the beach body. I love this infographic about how to get a bikini body. Put a bikini on your body. I think you see where I'm going with this, because truth of the matter is, if we were all to eat the same exact foods, exercise the same exact way, we would not all look the same. And further, we can't all eat and exercise in the same way because we all have our own needs, allergies, religions, and personal choices that affect what goes into our perfect diet. So in this way, aesthetics will never equal health because healthy is going to look different for every person. Let's move on. Number 2, dieting culture doesn't work because it separates food into good versus bad. Clean eating, healthy eating, cheat days, cheat meals. This kind of language makes us feel guilty and restricted in our food choices. Instead, we should be empowered with the knowledge of what we're putting into our bodies. Our food favorites should be something that is enjoyed, not something that is shame-inducing. The dieting cycle can cause us to develop disordered relationships with food. We're taught how to diet, but not often are we told how to eat for enjoyment, satisfaction, and nourishment. Health is not just in here, but it's in here, and it's in here as well. So understand that diet culture is built on false promises. Answers we need are within our own bodies. We just have to listen. So now that we've dismantled diet culture and put to rest these bogus ideals and lies that have been told to us throughout the years, let's start creating the diet that's right for you. First, you're going to start by recognizing your own relationship with food. This is probably the hardest part. Start by recognizing your own actions and feelings around eating. What impulses do you have? What kind of cravings do you have? And how do you feel after eating? 2 is try eating using all of your senses. Notice the smell, taste, texture of all the foods that you're eating, and think about the parts that you enjoy and the parts that you enjoy a little less about it. Start fully enjoying your food, and before you eat, think about what you're in the mood for. Start by by noticing when you're hungry. For some, it's easy to tell, and others, it can be harder. But the more you start to notice, the more you'll develop an intuition for it. Notice what food choices are stemming from diet culture. Are you choosing low-calorie, fat-free, little to no carb meals because you're told that this is what's healthy? Or are you choosing the food that you truly need to be satisfied? So once you've acknowledged your relationship to food, you can start adjusting your food choices around your health. This is what one dietitian, Alyssa Rumsey, coins as gentle nutrition. She says, dieting focuses on individual nutrients and the extreme effects of food choices. Overall health habits, eating, and lifestyle patterns are greater indicators of health, not how many gallons of kombucha you drink in your lifetime. Research that shows certain foods to promote health or prevent disease and choosing to incorporate those foods or styles of eating into your ordinary lifestyle is a great example, she says, of gentle nutrition. I'd like to go through some of her tips that describe gentle nutrition. The first tip is to zoom out. Look at your overall diet composition and patterns. Are there areas where you'd like to add in more nutritionally dense foods? Are there times when you feel like you want to be more flexible around your food choices? Are there times when you feel unprepared or uninspired when it comes to meals or snacks that you'd like to explore further? To ensure that these choices don't come from a place of restriction or residual diet mentality, it's important to remember that no one food or meal determines our health, which is why all foods can fit in and support a healthy diet. Number 2 is to add in variety from a place of self-care. Think of adding in instead of taking out. Years of negative food messages can make something like vegetables, fruits, or even fiber feel synonymous with dieting. You want to reach a point in your relationship with food where you're making decisions from a place of self-care. For example, I know vegetables provide me with nutrients that my body needs. Instead of, I have to eat vegetables with this meal or else I'm not being healthy. Once our choice is coming from a place of self-care, we have more flexibility to explore new foods and cooking techniques as well. Watch my last video. If you've never craved vegetables but have gone to a point where you know all foods can fit and are available to you, trying out different recipes and kinds of vegetables to add to your meal and noticing how they make your body feel can be a great way to practice gentle nutrition. A good starting place for gentle nutrition is to look at what you currently eat and see if there are any areas that you might be interested and willing to try to incorporate more nutrition. Her third tip is to have a loose structure around meals and snacks. Having some framework around meals and snacks can help make the school or work week easier and less stressful by making you feel more prepared. This is the part I love. Think about the general structure of your meal or snack, including protein, carbohydrate, fiber, and fat. The key word here is loose structure, meaning not every meal will have each of these components, and that's okay. You don't need to batch cook and line everything up into identical Tupperware, but having the general structure of how to build a meal that satisfies you and fills you up is part of the process. Her fourth tip is to eat enough. Use your body as your guide. If in the past you relied on external cues like serving sizes, food labels, or weighing foods to tell you what was enough, your internal cues of hunger, fullness, and satiety may surprise you. And lastly, be gentle with your food choices. Choosing a salad over a burger because you haven't had many greens recently and you know they make you feel good is a valid choice. But choosing a burger over a salad because that's what you're in the mood for is also a valid choice. She says, choosing to have or to not have a food from a place of honoring your health and your taste preferences without guilt represents the growth of your relationship with food. So thank you to Alyssa Rumsey. Those were all great tips on gentle nutrition and how to eat more intuitively. This is the basis of creating the diet that's right for you. You create it by asking yourself the questions and paying attention to how you feel when eating, when choosing foods, and how it makes you feel afterwards. And of course, with diet comes exercise. We need to exercise to be healthy. How much you exercise and how you exercise is going to affect your dietary needs. After all, a large reason for why we eat is to fuel ourselves for all the activities that we want to do. So if you are a highly active person, your calorie needs and specific nutrient needs will be higher than the times when you choose to be more sedentary. Your life and therefore diet is really ever-changing, which is why your intuition is your best friend. So friends, that is all for today on resisting diet culture and creating the diet that's right for you. Remember, we are all individuals, so make sure you're picking up your eating cues internally versus externally. And take the knowledge you learn from this channel to help you make better food choices for yourself. Thank you everyone for watching. Happy eating, everybody. Bye!